My name's Tamara Chambers, and this is Tamara's Never Seen. Cut off my hair. It's gone. So blue. Today I am watching Heathers for the first time. I think this is just a movie about like girls being catty to each other. But it's a cult classic and people have been asking me to do it. Without further ado, Heathers.
Tamara's Never Seen.
Okay. Why didn't any of you guys tell me this movie was about killing people? I thought it was about like girls being mean to each other in high school. This was so much fun! First I thought they were like taking themselves very seriously and I just was like thrown off. It took me like a good 40 minutes to get really into this film. And then once I was into it, I was into it. I thought that they were just gonna get in fights and I thought Veronica was like gonna like be excommunicated from the popular girl group and that she was gonna go off and like, you know, get revenge on them somehow. Not in the way that she did. I so enjoy that all of them are named Heather and they don't refer to them as like Heather H and Heather S. It's just Heather. They always know who they're talking about. It's super funny. Right off the bat, it seems super odd that Veronica is hanging out with them because she's like kind of the dark horse. On first glance fits in with them, but you're just kind of like, why are you hanging out with these huge jerk bags? Why? The scene in the cafeteria has some of the best outfits I've ever seen in any movie ever. The lead Heather calls another one of the Heathers a pillowcase for forgetting something. Is that a term? Are we just calling people like random words now? I know this was the 80s, but pillowcase, like now it's snowflake. That doesn't make any sense. I've never heard that before. But I've also never seen any movies, so it's probably just me. I wrote, Veronica, why are you hanging out with them? Those girls are the worst. They're going around asking if you inherited $4 billion or million or whatever, but then you found out the Earth was going to be shot down by aliens 2 days later, what would you spend the money on? Probably, I would go buy a giant car or like a bus, and then I would go hit up every adoption place in Chicago and get all the dogs and cats, and then I would go drive out to the middle of nowhere and like drive up a mountain and just be on top of the mountain. And, oh, I forgot, I'd stop for food. I would get a ton of food, I would drive up to this mountain, and I would hang out with a bunch of dogs and cats for 2 days, and just eat a shit ton, and drink, I'd get whiskey, and, die with friends who love me for who I am. They don't care that I've not seen any movies, they don't care. Except for Gerald. Gerald's a dick. So there's the character Martha, who everyone makes fun of. She's the typical character that gets made fun of. That's just Martha, it's her name, so you don't even have to see a picture of her to know Martha is someone that gets made fun of. It's the part where Veronica forges the signature of the jock, asking Martha out on a date. Sucks, and it's very like typical, like you see this in all like girl clique bully films, but I just hate it, it's so sad. The ending is freaking awesome of this movie. I adore it. I love the snatch of the ponytail holder. I love going to ask Martha out on her prom date, and it's just really nice and lovely. Also, no one dies at the end, except for, well, that's not true. Justin explodes, but basically no one dies. So the dumb jocks like laugh at Martha and laugh her out of the room, and then two of them go up to Justin Dean, is that his name? JD, who later stars in Scrubs. So they go up to Justin and they're like picking a fight with him, and I was like, okay, they are super like homophobic, which I don't enjoy, but typical jock jerk characters. Also still thought the movie was taking itself very seriously. But then JD pulls out a gun and shoots both of them with blanks, but it's a real gun and he shoots them. There's not much talk about it. Is anyone else, the parents aren't gonna address this? Like the school board, there's a ton of scenes with the school board. No one's gonna address that this kid has a gun, like a real gun. Okay, it's the 80s, I guess. I mean, that's just like straight terrorism, but oh, okay. No, yeah, carry on. So then main Heather goes to a college party with Veronica. Main Heather like sleeps with college dude or gives him a blowjob. She doesn't seem super into it. Then Veronica's like, no thank you, no thank you. Then Heather gets super mad at her. This is weird, that's why it's a cult classic though. Jason like sneaks into her bedroom at night when she's like angrily writing in her diary. And she's not weirded out by it, which I found pretty weird. This guy just like, where did you get my address? How did you know where I lived? Also, hey, hi. Okay. Then they sleep together in her croquet court. And they devise this plan that they're going to make Heather throw up because Veronica threw up at the party, and so it's like, oh, I'm gonna get back at him. I was like, all right, here we go. This is where this story is going. Definitely not gonna kill people. Everyone just walks into each other's houses in this movie, which is odd, but they just walk into Heather's house. Where are her parents? I don't know. Veronica's like, let's mix milk and orange juice. She'll totally throw up at that. No, it's just creamy orange juice. It's like a 50-50 bar. Come on, girlfriend, you gotta step your game up a little bit. But then JD is like, well, let's just kill her. And he puts like Drano in a cup, and she's like, ha ha, very funny. And then they kiss, and he distracts her with sexualness. It's a good move. Smart move. Heather drinks it, and Heather crashes through a glass table. And then they write a suicide note because Veronica's great at forging things. I wrote, what the fuck, she died? How did I not know? How is that not spoiled for me? Most of these films I see for Tamara's never seen, I already know, I mean, I guess not. No, I'm always surprised. I never know anything about these films. I wanted to give myself credit there, but I can't. No credit where credit is due. I just don't understand how I didn't. No, I take it back. That did not deserve a hair flip. You see the school board talking, and it's they're like, how should we deal with this? And I was distracted the whole time because of the one teacher who has butterfly earrings and a cat pin. It's like a giant crystal necklace, and her hair is feathered. She's the best. I love her. Veronica makes a lot of poor decisions in this movie, and I'm not even necessarily talking about like the deaths. I'm talking about like the people she hangs out with and the dates she goes on. One of the Heathers is like, hey, I want to go on a double date. We need another girl. Please come with us. And she's like, well, I'm kind of with JD, but whatever. I'll go. Whatever. It's fine. It's not really how dating works. Some people, yeah. You have to talk it out first, though. Make sure that all parties involved are okay with it. The guys end up getting drunk and end up cow tipping. It's fun. So fun. Reminds me of my high school. But anyways, she leaves the date, goes to school the next morning, and finds out that Kurt has been spreading rumors about them having like threesomes with her and Kurt and Ram, and it's gross and so rude. In high school, somebody started a rumor that I was pregnant, and a teacher approached me about it, and I was like, hi, I'm Tamara. I wasn't even allowed to watch Rugrats as a kid. You think I've had sex? So they kill him. So they set up another suicide for Kurt and, I just said his name. Ram? God, that's a terrible name. They shot themselves because they were gay lovers and they couldn't take this judgmental world any longer. One of the best lines in the whole movie is there's the two cops come up after and they see it, and they're awesome, especially the one that runs after them. Why suicide? Why? And then he pulls out like a sparkling mineral water and he's like, does this answer your question? Because gay people only drink sparkling mineral water. Then the actual best line of the movie, my son's a homosexual and I love him. I love my dead gay son. And their coffins are together because they were lovers. So kind. Martha tries to kill herself, and that's when Veronica starts to realize like, oh shit, this is affecting people. So, like it would happen in real life, a new lead Heather emerges out of the old Heathers. So JD is like, let's kill her. And Veronica's like, no, this is over. We're done, JD. 3 murders is enough. So she pretends to hang herself, the only obvious solution. And he comes in like the little villain that he is and explains his entire dastardly plan to blow up the whole school. It's like seriously like villain monologuing. It's awesome. I wrote, he reveals he's going to blow up the school. Dude is nuts. I was right not to have a crush on him at the beginning of the movie. She tries to stop him from blowing up the school and she's like pointing a gun at him. And I'm just like, where are these guns coming from? Is this one of his guns or is this just a gun that she had? Why do all these kids have guns? And then there's some forced kissing that I don't love. She stops the bomb and she's like, you know what I want, babe? Cool guys like you out of my life. She makes like weird faces, like, what the is that? Winona. Girl, what are those faces, girl? He like survives and then just takes one bomb and puts it on himself and like walks outside. Then it stops counting down. He like has to hit it a few times. She pulls out a cigarette and like lets the explosion light it, and it's so great. And then she goes and takes the bow tie from the popular jerk Heather and then like ties it around her head. She's like, there's a new Heather or queen or whatever she says, and then she goes and asks Martha out for prom, and it's awesome. Not what I thought was going to happen. I cannot believe that it wasn't ruined for me at some point in my life. How did I miss? How did I don't know. I'm so good at movies and trivia and pop culture. I loved the family dynamics with Veronica's family and how they had pretty much the same conversation every time. I love that they were all three named Heather. I also love that the teachers had some form of Pam in their name. Pam and Pamela. I guess those were the only two that I heard, but I think that's what they were going for. Super funny. Lots of homophobic language, like a lot. Using the word fag, which I hate that word. At what point is it funny? At what point is it not funny? And I found this funny. It's kind of like Blazing Saddles, where you have like these awful words that they're using and this awful racism, but it's because it's making fun of the people using those words, not the words themselves. So that's interesting, a cool aspect of it that I really enjoyed. I thought it was hilarious. The last words that I wrote are just, yes. Next week, I am going to tackle quite the classic. I am going to tackle Rocky 1, and I'm gonna have Walter with me because he is like a Rocky fanatic fan. I have no interest in the Rocky movies. Don't tell Walter that I said that. Hi Walter, I know you're editing. All right, well, see you guys next week. Bye.